إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه وبركاته عليه. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء اتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وأحسن هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. So we were explaining the hadith about the categories of Tawheed, as those three categories will be actualized on the day of resurrection. And like I said, Ya Ma'ashar al-Ikhwa, this is just a reminder. That's the classes that I usually love to teach. Really, I did not have that much time to get the books and arrange them as I wanted. But like I said, فَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَى تَنفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. As a reminder, for verily, a reminder benefits the believers. As we were speaking about yesterday, is you'll find that a lot of what our people complain about, as I mentioned in numerous classes and on numerous occasions, that you'll find that starting off saying that the most depressed people in the dunya, a lot of people don't realize that the most depressed people are those countries which are the most richest countries. As you'll find that a lot of those who are not plagued or tried with the sickness of depression, a lot of them are those poor and impoverished countries. So why is it that in those rich, wealthy countries, people are tried and tested with depression so much? And I told everyone to look into Google, and you'll find that at the top of the head of the list of those who are depressed are rich countries, and at the head of them is America. Number one is America. They have the severest, highest rate of depression in the dunya. Why is that? For one, wants to cure the sicknesses, so-called, and the ills of society. The only way it can be rectified is to follow exactly how the Prophet ﷺ rectified society, to take that as a role model to be followed. There isn't any other way to rectify society. And if not, what the Messenger of Allah ﷺ came with doesn't suffice and is not adequate, then what is? That's the question. And at the same time, we would like to address and say, our main goal and our focus is purifying our worship from polytheism and innovation, and so on and so forth. And if you look to the juhud and the efforts of our brothers in the da'wah, you still see at the same time they still try to rectify social ills. You see that we have marriage counseling. You see that we try to advise brothers. People have come to us who are sick who are facing depression and grief and sadness. We try to take time out to give them advice, but that's all we can do. But that's all we can do. Our focus is, no doubt, starting with and making our main focus and goal and establishing our da'wah upon focusing on actualizing the monotheism of Allah and Allah being singled out in worship and purifying it from polytheism or anything that taints it in general. Under that, you'll still find our du'at and our brothers here in America they still care about the social ills of our communities. Like we said, we have marriage counseling. We sit down with the people in the rooms. We try to solve the problems. We look into what is the social ills amongst the two couples and the two spouses. We take time out. And I'm sure there's a lot of us, and I can say at the head, me, myself, I have headaches doing it. Listening to the two couples coming into the office, and you see two couples, you see grown men and a grown man, a grown woman and a grown man acting like two little kids, screaming and hollering. You're like, wow. But the point of the matter is that we put forth effort in trying to what? Solve it. We make the effort. The effort is there. Rather, we have headaches doing it. So it's not like it's been neglected. Efforts are put forth, efforts are made. So this baseless statement of that is just, or the social ills are just going to fade out. For that which you will find of our efforts that we put forth, the most utmost. We make that our focus and our goal, which is Tawheed and the monotheism of Allah, because that's the only thing that's going to rectify society. That which took place with Sheikh Muhammad Abdur-Razzaq rahimahullah when he came, and the people, when the Jazirat al-Arab, which is now Saudiya, went into absolute darkness again. As we know, people started worshiping idols again. People started to now be involved in tribalism, racism. It went to absolute darkness again. All those are social ills. Wars broke out between tribes, between people. There was killing, murder, unjustly, you name it. When Sheikh Muhammad Abdur-Razzaq rahimahullah, when he came, he brought his Rasail, those treaties of what we study now, until the whole land became rectified again. All the social ills were removed, and at the head of all those, the greatest of all social ills, which is polytheism, was eradicated. Or why we need to stop worrying about what's going on overseas and all these other different things they try to say. All these things have stopped. We've seen progress of the people. When we finished this book from Kitab Tawheed to the end, I had brothers come to me and announce and said, listen, I'm tired of having a girlfriend. I want to rectify my life. I'm tired of selling drugs. I'm tired of being out in the street. I'm tired of being in the club. I'm tired of going out. And also I heard it from even my wife's friends, the same thing. I'm tired of having a weave in my hair. I'm tired of shaping up my eyebrows. I'm tired of not living right. When you establish the foundation, the sins, like you said, will follow behind it. The people eventually will start leaving it off. You see the rectification take place, right? And it manifested here in Philadelphia. Not only that, even in Southwest Philadelphia and South Philadelphia, because the brothers in South Philadelphia, before they had the message to come up to Southwest Philadelphia. You've seen the whole area changing for the better. And you see that Islam was spreading real strong. That's the da'wah of the Anbiya. The da'wah of the prophets and the messengers, that's what it does, rectify society. When you start off and you use those steps, how the Messenger of Allah gave da'wah, and not only in that, ya ma'ashal ikhwa, also those, when you're giving those khutab, and you're teaching those classes, when you're teaching those classes, likewise, being sincere and genuine when you teach the people. For wallahi, the people will feel when they know in your heart, you know in yourself that you want good for the people. And you want it so bad for them, they'll start flowing off and they'll flow off your energy. Based upon the fact of how much good you want for them and how bad you want them to be guided. And being so sincere to the point that your sincerity, you see it starting to flow off the people because they know you want good for them. So having a da'wah, inshallah, of one who is sincere and disseminating that knowledge you will see rectification starting to take place in the society. And that's exactly what happened in that part of Philadelphia when we went through Kitab Tawheed 3 times. Like you said, the brothers started to left off the girlfriends. Brothers that came to me and said, I used to be a drug dealer heavy in the street. I want to stop now. I'm tired of living like this. Brothers and sisters started taking their weaves out of their hair. Sisters started wearing the tight jeans or wearing the improper way of dress. They went to rectify and started getting themselves together. Women went into now, because everyone knows that I used to dress all the time. Okay, what's this thing? I can't read it, I read it.
As we being soft and kind with the brothers, do we apply that it should be both scholars warned against?
Say it again.
You mentioned being soft and kind with the brothers. They wanted to know if it applied to the Shadeed and the people the scholars warned against.
Being soft and kind with them?
Soft and kind.
With Shadeed in them?
That's what somebody asked me.
No, I'm just trying to answer the question. I'm not coming at you. I'm just trying to figure out the question. Go ahead and just what was I saying?
About rectifying society, cleaning up Southwest.
Wait. When we finish those books, like we said, you've seen the community changing for the better. And like we said, you'll find that brothers wanted to stop having girlfriends, the sisters wanted to start now getting married and stop being on the phone with the brothers before they marry them and having premarital relationships before they married them. They wanted to try to start rectification took place. You've seen it. I heard it from people. People used to always tell me that we want to stop. I'm sick and tired of living the way I live. But notice I didn't used to talk about, I used to warn against the sins. We used to warn against it all the time. But the main focus under that was calling to the Tawheed and the monotheism of Allah Ta'ala constantly. Making that the main focus, which came as a result of it, you see people starting to progress as far as in their religion. People wanted to stop playing games. They wanted to stop being two-faced. They wanted to really start rectifying themselves and start thinking about them meeting Allah and being in a good state when they meet Allah. So the only way that's going to rectify the communities is based upon the da'wah of the prophets and the messengers. Not busy yourselves with the politics, busy yourselves with voting, coming to the Muslims now and open up the bab and khilaf and the aspect of intikhabat, that they open up the aspect of difference in voting and all this other nonsense, that certain people who came from Medina, so-called study under the scholars all these different years. How is it that you study overseas for all these years, for 15 years or 20 years that you brag about, and you don't even apply 1, 2, 3 to the people? How disgraceful that is. How is it that you're overseas for 20 years and you come back and we have yet you to crack open a book of Kitab Tawheed and finish at least half of it with the people? The least you can do. And you think that we're impressed, and especially me, I'm impressed, and I'm jealous? Jealous, you're not even following the da'wah of the prophets. How am I going to be jealous? You're not doing what the Prophet ﷺ did exactly in his da'wah of how he gave da'wah alayhi salatu wasalam. So we knew that your da'wah was going to fail. If you're not doing it how he did it, it's going to be subjected to failure. Know which way you're going to look at it. Look into the Ikhwanis, look to all the different Muslims in all the different places who are now being overpowered by the non-Muslims due to their what? Due to their lack of application of this matter, and if you want to add on to it, also likewise of them not only not applying it, but even making war with it, making war with Tawheed, and making war with the Sunnah. So how is it that you're going to make war with these matters and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala truly give tawfiq to the ummah, or really give tawfiq to our communities and societies? Not only do you just not applying it, but you're making war with it. So what we're trying to say is, when you see that the callers, even though they spent 10 years or 20 years overseas and they come into the masajid and they open up the aspect of, is it permissible to vote or not vote? You'll say, actually, the Prophet ﷺ didn't make his focus politics at all in the first 13 years or not more. The da'wah. When he's in Mecca, he didn't even care about politics. That wasn't even his concern. He didn't even care about it. He didn't look to it at all. 13 years straight, he was just focusing on rectifying the people's mindset, how they think in their hearts, and getting them prepared for the rest of the ahkam that was going to be set down of leaving off intoxicants and drinks. That came later. The Prophet ﷺ laid down the foundation in the groundwork first. For 13 years, preparing the people's minds to put in the ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the knowledge of Allah first. Because once they had knowledge and it became deep-rooted in themselves, what came as a result of it, like we said, and when the rest of the ahkam was revealed, of leaving off intoxicants, of zina and stealing, all of it, they accepted it wholeheartedly, without any hesitation. The Prophet ﷺ did not even care about politics whatsoever. Nothing, had nothing to do with politics. The first focus was on the ibadah of Allah ta'ala. That was the main focus. So I don't care if you study overseas for 10 or 15, 20 years. We have yet to see you crack the book of the Kitab al-Tawheed and teach it to the people properly. Teach it to the people. When I say, I mean properly, not generally speaking, because these people who's around these du'at, they love to generally speak. They don't like to go into the deviant sects and mention their names. They like to so-called generally say things. We're talking about properly teaching Kitab al-Tawheed. Because once you teach Kitab al-Tawheed, you have to start mentioning names. You have to. You have to mention names for that which is pertaining to the people who fell into destruction from the past. And know for sure the only way you're going to cultivate people properly is when you teach about the deviant sects of the past, and then you tie it in with the deviant sects of today and name with the names so the people can put two and two together. So it's not just enough that you just mention the deviant sects and the people who were destroyed from the past. You have to tie it into the modern day problems and the modern day callers who are also likewise leading the people astray, so the people can know how these people are misleading the Muslims in these days of the times under the guise of Islam. Even though they say La ilaha illallah, but still polytheism is being practiced in the ranks of the Muslims. So not the fact that you just keep teaching Kitab al-Tawheed, you have to teach it properly. Talking about the deviant sects of the past and the mushrikeen and the polytheists and the Orientalists and those who are upon democracy and all those other things. Because all of that is polytheism. Democracy is polytheism. Yes, it is. All those other different types of matters, and then you tie it in like we said. Tie it in from the times of old. And likewise, you have to tie it in from the modern day times so the people can know how to avoid it and what they do on a daily basis. Seeing how these things affect them in their daily lives, you pinpoint it and you talk about it. That's a person that truly wants to cultivate the people properly. But a person that wants to teach Kitab al-Tawheed generally, we're just going to mention some book, just like what Akil Ingram did. And I'm not scared to say his name. The knucklehead Akil Ingram was in Washington, D.C., Kitab al-Tawheed. We just read it generally, just translate it from the Shaykh. Won't say nothing about no groups, no nothing, teach no names, no nothing. Just keep it real general. Keep it general. Just like what Tahir Wai did in that clip. Keeps it general, general. You can take it how you want to take it. Nobody's fooled. So what we saying in regards to this, for as far as in regards to Kitab al-Tawheed, I'm asking, what is Tahir Wai? Has he taught Kitab al-Tawheed here in America yet? I'm just asking. Anybody know? I'm sure some Tahir Wais in here, followers in here. Can any of you guys speak up for him? Did he teach Kitab al-Tawheed yet? I'm just asking. I haven't seen him yet crack on Kitab al-Tawheed. He's probably a Tahir Wai follower here somewhere. If you know, you go look, do research on Google for me and bring it to me. Because I really want to know. I want to know. Has he taught Usul Thalathiyah, Qawaid al-Arba'in? Has he taught Kashf al-Shubahat, Kitab al-Tawheed? This is the da'wah of the Anbiya and the Prophets. I'm still waiting. Because this is the da'wah of the Anbiya. So I'm not impressed about the 20 years of the nonsense. And I know other stuff in between that. Yeah, that a lot of people don't know. The so-called bragging of the grades. I know what went on inside. Trust me. He knows that I know that. But I'm not going to put your cards out how you put everybody else out there. But you know, and I know, Tahir, you didn't pull some strings in certain affairs. You know that I know that. But you know what? I'm not going to put you out there like you try to put the rest of my brothers out there. I ain't going to sink to your level. how you get your puppets around you. Your puppets, because that's who they are. Your puppets. And you sit back and the ranks quiet as kept. You get your little puppets and you just manipulate them like little strings on your little garments or your little garment, your little strings, your puppets. You get them to vocalize what they want, saying the names of the du'at while you sit in the back. Shh, shh, shh. So if something was to go down, your what? Your record is what? Your slate is what? Clean. I never said nothing. That was done. See, we peep the games. See, your clonies don't even peep the games. No, they don't even realize they're being used. We know that you're using your little clonies to manipulate them like puppets on the straight, and you're the puppet master. Yes, I'm coming at your neck because I know it's you. Just like what Abu-Razzaq used to say, rahimahullah, we cut the snake at the neck, at the head. What Abu-Razzaq used to say, rahimahullah. I'm not fooled by the little knuckleheads that's on YouTube and your little followers, your little puppets. Not fooled by them. They're just a distraction. They're the smoke screen. I know who's the person who's probably more than likely manipulating all of this, and he's just being quiet and enjoying it. So when things go down, he can always just say in the end, I ain't do nothing. I ain't had nothing to do with it. And at the end, like we said, also likewise, he can still go on and carry about his studies and still look like he's the golden boy at the end of the day. That was them, Sheikh. I'm just studying. The same games that was played back 2003 is the same games of today. No more, no less. All these other things that's going on in Philly is just a side distraction. I'm not distracted. It's a smoke screen. I don't listen to the YouTube nonsense. That's just a side. That's just what you call a smoke screen. To cover your eyes and pull over your eye for you to get distracted. That's all that is. I don't listen to them knuckleheads. We don't want to go to the, as Abu-Razzaq used to say, cut the snake at its head. And I know people are likely going to make a video. They're going to probably put on YouTube another video about Hamzah Abdur-Razzaq and try to find dirt on me. And all. I'm not scared of none of y'all, you guys. And at the end of the day, I sacrifice myself for the dawah. I'm ready to die for the dawah. That's when the person looks in the mirror. Are you ready to die for the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his dawah, so the fear to go forward? That's when a person has to really, he put a sacrifice, his honor himself. He doesn't care about people. He wants to know, when I die and meet my Lord, did I put forth my utmost and put forth my best? And when I meet Allah, to know that I died for his deen, for his religion, I did what I could to sacrifice to make sure Salafiyah and that the people would die. That's all he cares about at the end of the day. I'm sure my wife sees it every day. You're always talking about how you and my die, you and my, what's wrong with you? I said, because I have this on my mind every day. I'm thinking about meeting Allah every day. Am I straight? What is my state when I meet Allah tomorrow? What am I going to be? What is Allah going to say? These are the things a person thinks about. Did I put forth my best effort? Did I do this where I came up short? And did I raise my kids properly? A lot of things on your mind. It's how a mu'min thinks about. So it pushes him to put more for better effort. To be more upright. So in regards to this, Ya Ma'ashar al-Ikhwa, for we say that the da'wah of the prophets and the anbiya, it needs men in these days and times. Men to stand up and not be afraid, as they know, لَا يَخَافْ لَمَّةَ لَائِمٍ. He's not afraid of the blameworthies of those who will blame him whatsoever. Sacrifices he sacrifices everything of what Allah has given him in order for da'wah salafiyya to go forward. He does it to the point where he always makes sure that the da'wah is, even if it's about himself, and he has to sacrifice himself for the betterment of the community and the da'wah to go forward, then so be it. As he doesn't care about self-gratification. Somebody oppressed me, and I want that oppression for them to feel it. Or I want revenge. All of those things is not the sifat of the mu'min. All of those are not the characteristics of the mu'min. The characteristic of the mu'min, like we said, all he cares about is to know that the da'wah of Allah is protected and that it's preserved. Doesn't care about himself. Doesn't care about self-gratitude or some self-pleasure of trying to attain of revenge because somebody oppressed me, so I want to get them back. They don't know how they made me feel. This is now also characteristics of men. All of the mashayikh and the ulama, Sheikh Rabi', you know, or all of our mashayikh who we have to look at, brothers and sisters, you have to realize when the ulama are being spoken about as if not, they're on a higher level of your parents. The ulama are on a higher level of your parents. Someone right now is to talk bad and ill about your mother, what would you think about it? Someone is to speak ill about someone who you dearly love, that was close to you from your mother and your father. How would you feel? Somebody spoke bad about their honor. You see them being dispraised and being talked about as if they're imbeciles. They don't have any sense. How would you feel? The ulama are above that. At the heads of them, naming them, Sheikh Rabi', Hafidhullah wa ra'ah, Sheikh Ubayd, Hafidhullah wa ra'ah, Sheikh Muhammad bin Hadi Madkhali, Hafidhullah wa ra'ah, wa talallahu fi a'marihim, bil-a'mal al-salihah, ومتعهم بالصحة والعافية. Sheikh Abdullah al-Bukhari, you name them. Also likewise Sheikh Salih al-Haydan, Sheikh Salih Fawzan, and that's more than 3 or 4 as they also accuse themselves all the time. You have 3 or 4 mashayikh and all the other nonsense. I think we made some name. How many so far? 5. There was 6. What? Jazakumullah khair. 6. Also likewise who died from amongst some of these days of time, Sheikh Abdul Aziz bin Baz. Also likewise the Imam al-Albani, Sheikh Muhammad al-Jari, also Sheikh Hamad al-Ansari, other than them. These are like more than your 5 great brothers and sisters. You have to realize these are like above your parents. Your parents is here, they're up here. These are people who are preserving the religion, who have preserved at the hands of them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected the religion by way of them. So when one of them are speaking ill, to be condemned, to be spoken about, you should feel some type of way. When someone is mocking Sheikh Rabi' and someone is mocking the ulama, they're mocking him, you should really feel some type of way. It's like if somebody talking about your mother, your father, what's wrong with this guy? He's lost his mind. Speaking about Sheikh Rabi', you just said, oh, he just bought some books down. Sheikh Abdul Hassan al-Mahdi threw it on the table. And I'm like, Abdul Hassan is not being translated. His fitna isn't here. It's not even translated, Sheikh. That's because you are carrying his ideologies, you idiot. You're carrying his ideologies. Sheikh Rabi' knows that. Sheikh Rabi' knows that you and Tahir, you are actualizing the afkar, the ideologies of Abdul Hassan al-Mahdi. You're applying it. Here in America, everyone sees it. You go to the masajid of Bid'ah, you make a whole bunch of excuses for him. It's the same thing Abdul Hassan al-Mahdi used to do. What's the difference? Go to those masajid, claim, oh, they're only ignorant, Ahlul Bid'ah, all this other nonsense. You also applying the same Qawa'id Ibrahim Rahidi too. Also, likewise, you will go to the masajid and say, oh, these people, they're good people, you gotta make excuses for them to the end of it. But y'all Salafis, y'all stupid fools, idiots. You see now what? The tongue is vicious towards Ahlul Sunnah. Well, now the tongue is real soft for who? Same thing of Abu Hassan al-Mahdi Ali Halabi. It's the same exact da'wah. Sheikh Rabi' knows that. That's why he said for you to what? To clarify, go. Because he knows that you carry their ideologies and their belief. Right now, I'm asking everyone in this room, what right now connects us with the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam, even though we don't know him personally and we never seen him? We never met him, we never seen him alayhi salatu wasalam. And we don't know him personally, because you'll find a lot of these people, you'll find from their followers, they always say, I never met him, I don't know him personally, I don't know the person, I don't never met so-and-so, I don't know him personally. Yeah, Ikhwa, you have to realize this is another trick. I'm asking everyone in this room right now, do you know Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam personally? Have you met him, seen him? No. Rather, there's something that is more intricate and more important and even more in depth. That's way more what? Better than just meeting a person personally, which is what? Being upon what? Being upon his way. Also is what? His belief. Believing what he believed. That ties more in depth. Your i'tiqad, your belief. That's more in depth, even though you never met him, you see him, alayhi salatu wasalam. But the most important thing, what binds you with him is what? You believe in what he said, that what was sent down to him, and also what he came, what he brought, and also you put forth your utmost effort in applying and in practicing Islam the way he taught it, and how he practiced it, and how he taught it to the Sahaba. That's the bond that keeps you together, or keeps you with, along with the message of Allah, alayhi salatu wasalam. Even though you don't know him personally, you've never seen him, you never met him, a moment in your life. Right now, we apply the opposite effect. Even though you're not met Abdul Hassan al-Mahdibi, his books is not translated, it's not spread here in America, nobody knows who Abdul Hassan al-Mahdibi is. But if you have the same i'tiqad and minhaj, that's even more in depth than you never even meeting him personally. You understand, everyone? Is it clear what I'm saying? So you don't have to meet a person a day in his life. If you're practicing what he's practicing, isn't that still something? That's something that's way more what? Way more what, everyone? It's way more important, way more depth, because you have a connection with him even though you never met a day in your life. Is it clear? All these principles, brothers and sisters, you have to, when you attain a tafsir, a salafi, and naqi, studying the books, like I said yesterday in yesterday's lecture, when these winds of these people that bring these embellished, decorated speech, you would not be fooled. And it's a shame that a lot of the books of al-Ibana, al-Kubra, al-Sughra, wa-Sharh usul i'tiqad, al-Sunnah al-Nakai, which is like an encyclopedia for knowing the minhaj al-Salafi, have not been translated. But these are the books, the reason why people are confused in these days. Number one, because a lot of the common folk these days, and I'm not afraid to say this, men these days talk too much. That's number one. Men these days talk too much. And the women are on a higher level. If the men talk too much, I can't imagine how the women are. That's number one. Number two, also, brothers and sisters need to stop going on these websites being arrogant, thinking, I could take the hop and leave off the belt on these websites. I know what he's saying, the hop and belt. No, you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't even be on there wasting your time. You wouldn't even be lending the ear. You wouldn't even be tempted. You wouldn't even waste your time. If a person was minhaj salafi, was deep rooted in his heart, he wouldn't even waste his time. So when you go on these websites now, you go on these and listen to you lend your ear to these type of people in this wave. As soon as you now hear a person coming on the stage and you hear and he's talking about somebody's grades and he's talking about so-and-so beat up so-and-so and so-and-so, he's into he used a disgusting word I heard in the interview. It was a nasty word. Anyway, accusing someone of fornication and all this. As soon as a person hears this and he knows Minhaj al-Salafi, he's been through the books of Lanakai and also Sharia by Al-Jibri, as soon as he hears, he says, this is personal issues. From the ways of the Minhaj al-Salafi, nobody entertains the sins. The sins of what a person commits, that's harming himself. I want to hear what is affecting the religion of Allah. That's what I care about. That's what I want to hear, and that's no more, no more, less. It always happens to me, man. It happens to me. Now, regards to sins. As soon as a person hears someone going in about someone's sins, that's when it's incumbent upon you to say, halt. Number one, Yafi, first of all, bring me one refutation from Imam Ahmed. Bring me one refutation from, for example, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Ishaq ibn Rahuya, Sufyan ibn Ri'aayah, Sufyan al-Thawri, start from the ulama of the past, that they ever use personal issues when they refute someone or critique someone. Bring it to me. One. That's when you stop them in the tracks. Bring it to me. So you'll know when they start bringing personal issues, the majority now their refutation has been alleviated. You've wasted, they've wasted a lot of time, and you saved yourself a lot of time. So that's number one. As far as the salams, because a lot of you'll find that they love to use personal issues as a hujjah. They always say, so-and-so, I passed by him, he didn't give me salams. Sound like a little kid, hurt. They said they didn't give me salams. Man, he gave me a bad salam. His salams was real cold, shape. Sounded like a little child. And even Sheikh Abir was heard of, when I seen some people, I was sitting for Sheikh Abir one time, and they came to him, and they started saying the same thing. Sheikh, he gave me this, they gave me salams, and I'm just looking down at the ground like, oh. So Sheikh Abir also like, he didn't give me salams, they didn't give me salams. They didn't even give me salams in a real cold manner, Sheikh. And Sheikh is just looking at him like, let's grow up. He give you salams and now who cares? Well, do you have the minhaj aqidah points? Where they at? That's why the salams, those salams, it's like a little child. Grow up. That's what we say, brother, down these men. Right now, somebody come out the street. Happens to me all the time. People look at me funny looks and don't give me salam. I'm like, who cares? Keep me moving. That's all now. Who cares? Act like a man. It happens every day. I'm sure everybody in the room has someone look at them funny and just not give them salam. Fine, okay. Keep it moving. I don't care. Happens all the time. That's the dunya. You're going to face ever, even from your own people. It hurts, but hey, just keep it moving. I'm just speaking reality. It's the reality. I'm sure Sheikh Nabi is the same thing. I'm sure Sheikh Muhammad Hadi had people grinning on him, looking funny. Think the Sheikh care? I don't care. Keep it moving. Be a man. Somebody say in regards to this, a lot of these personal issues, that's when you say for the person, you look at the refutation, oh, this is a personal issue, nobody has time for it. What's the minhaj aqidah points? What's opposed to religion? That's what I want to know. No more, no less. Especially when you've seen in the refutation of Ali Davis, when made me start reading it, was the first thing. When he said, Yusuf Qaradawi is a sheikh, I said, well, this guy is ignorant. Yusuf Qaradawi is a alim? Look at every Salafi in this room that's probably just like, are you serious? Yusuf Qaradawi is a alim? The one who said that if Allah came down and participated in voting, Allah wouldn't get many votes as this Jew here. Yeah, that's Yusuf Qaradawi. Yes, I'll repeat it one more time. If Allah came down, this is Yusuf Qaradawi. If Allah came down and he participated in this run or elections or whatever, he wouldn't even get as many votes as this Jew here. Jayid, you claim that's an island? That's the turmoil that we're in now. That's the state we're in. You have people now here claiming Salafiyya, they call him that person an island. And he studied in the Jamia for 7 years. How many? 7 is 8, something like that? 7 years, maybe longer than that. And you calling this man, did you study Aqidah? Did you properly understand it to know that a man said a statement like this, that he shouldn't be considered a scholar at all? That this is a statement of ridda. This is a statement of apostation. He's a scholar though? This is a statement of ridda. Oh, don't forget the other statement Yusuf Qaradawi mentioned. He said, "Ana ufaddil al-hurriya ala sharia." Don't forget that one either. I prefer hurriya. I prefer liberalism over the sharia. People being free, being liberal. I prefer hurriya ala sharia. That's another statement Yusuf Qaradawi. As soon as I read that on Ali Davis's refutation, I said, this is a waste of time. Is he serious? All of his personal issues. Then he put Yusuf Qaradawi as an alim at the top. I was just bust out laughing. I was like, come on, man. So I called Jamil. I said, Jamil, you want me to do this? You want me to refute this? I'm just a little busy, though. Because I wanted to do it. And I really wanted to let the common folk, I wanted to get the common folk involved to let them, to display the level of ignorance he's on. That even our people here can even have more knowledge of you in these affairs. How many times we got to the call? Okay. You said how many minutes? 15, 20. Okay. I know it's gonna be. They're gonna probably making videos of me for days with this lecture. They're gonna probably put a lecture on 1,000 mistakes of Hamzah Abdur-Razzaq. YouTube, Flash, 1,000 mistakes of Hamzah Abdur-Razzaq. And I'm like, go ahead. You know, I don't care at the end of the day. Go ahead. Oh, at any rate. So when we say in this regard, the last thing we wanted to end on was talking about the hadith of Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu Abdur. And also likewise the hadith of Anas ibn hadith Abdullah bin Mas'ud wa Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. We said that all the aqsam of Tawheed are going to be put to test on the day of resurrection. Rather, that's going to be the first thing that's going to be looked at and examined before anything else. The first thing that's going to be examined by all of the creation, without an exception, is their i'tiqad, is their belief. The sins comes later. So the sins comes later, based upon the arrangement of the hadith. So no one can say that I'm legalizing sin in here. So no one can say I'm legalizing sin. We're going based upon the narration here. So what was going to take precedence over on the day of resurrection before anything else is examined is, like we said, number one, the i'tiqad. The i'tiqad, Allah Ta'ala is going to test the people based upon that. Number one, like we said, Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. It's going to call out. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is going to, as we know, Tawheed al-Rububiyyah is mentioned in the Quran, min bab iqamat al-hujja al-khalq, as we know. That the reason why Tawheed al-Rububiyyah is mentioned in the Quran, for what reason, that I taught the brothers so many times. For what, everyone? In order to establish the what? The argument and the proof against the people. That's the reason why Tawheed al-Rububiyyah is mentioned, in order the people to what? To worship Him alone. To bring them back to Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, or Tawheed al-Ibadah, or Tawheed al-Talab al-Qasr. In order to bring them back to that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions Tawheed al-Rububiyyah all throughout the Quran. In order to establish as a proof that the people should unify Him in His worship. As you'll notice that in the ayah, which is in Surah Al-Baqarah, if you go back to it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about how يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون والذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا والسماء بناء وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم فلا تجعلوا لله أندادا وأنتم تعلمون. This is one example. We'll suffice by that one example. The ayah is Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah Ta'ala says, "O people, worship your Lord." So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala started off with Tawheed what? Al-Uluhiyyah first. Then Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala started off with what aspect of worship. Then Allah Ta'ala put the justification of why, which is الذي خلقكم, the one who created you and created those before you, in order that you what? May fear him, or taqwa him. The one who what? الذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا والسماء بناء وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah was mentioned how many times in this ayah? I think it was 5. How many? First of all, let me start with for number 1. يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. الذي جعل لكم الأرض فراشا والسماء بناء وأنزل من السماء ماء فأخرج به من الثمرات رزقا لكم. That's about 7 times that Allah mentioned about His actions, about what He does. 7 times. Then He ended it off. فَلَا تَجْعَلُوا لِلَّهِ أَنْدَادًا وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Tawheed, what everyone? Al-Uluhiyyah. طيب. Notice Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the reason for why the people should unify Him in His worship based upon what? Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, which is the singling out of Allah of who or what, everyone? His actions. He created you, sustained you, sent down the rain, brought forth the vegetation, the agriculture from the earth to the end of it, right? Right. It was mentioned in that same ayah about 6-7 times approximately about His actions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's actions is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, right everyone? Right. All that is mentioned out the Quran, as we know, as Sheikh Muhammad Ahmad used to constantly say this, and all his lectures he used to listen to, and all of his tape, and his recordings, he say, Tawheed al-Rububiyyah تذكر في كتاب الله تبارك وتعالى من باب إقامة الحجة على الخلق حتى يوحدوه ويعبدوه وحده لا شريك له. It's established upon the creation, the use or the meaning of why Tawheed al-Rububiyyah is mentioned in the Quran is من باب إقامة الحجة على الخلق, in order to establish the argument and the proof against the creation that He is the one that deserves to be worshipped alone. To bring you back to the affair of what? Unifying Him in His worship. Right, everyone? Right. So now we get to the day of resurrection. On the day of resurrection, the same thing likewise will be manifested and actualized again. When the day of judgment, when it comes, there will be a call that will call out, which is what did we say yesterday? We said that on the day of resurrection, likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to do, establish against creation, the same thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to call out, Ya ayyuhan nas, alam tardaw min rabbikum, alladhi khalaqakum, wa sawwarakum, wa razaqakum, an yuwaliya kullu insana ma kana ya'budu fi dunya, wa yatawalla, alaysa dhalika adlun min rabbikum, qala bala. قال فينطلق كل إنسان منكم إلى ما كان يتولى في الدنيا. So notice the first thing, what did it say? What did it say here? He said من ربكم الذي خلقكم وصوركم ورزقكم. On the day of resurrection, that's going to call out, which is what everyone will be. What will be said? Oh people, will it not be? This is to all of the creation. Will you not be pleased from your Lord? Which category of Tawheed is that? Like we said yesterday, من ربكم, Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, the one who created you, Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. وَصَوَّرَكُمْ, the one who gave you the image or shape, Rububiyyah. Razaqakum, Rububiyyah. That every person that he take on what he used to worship in this dunya. Which category of Tawheed is that? Uluhiyyah. Uluhiyyah. So the first focus, like we said, and the main focus was what? On the day of resurrection, when it commences, first thing that's going to start out, number 1, like we said, is the first 2 categories of Tawheed is going to be put to test. That's the reason why us of Ahl Sunnah with Salafiyin makes this our main focus. Because when the people will come on the day of resurrection, and part of our preparation of meeting Allah is to, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us clear evidences and proofs, given us steps. So what is Allah going to ask us, and what's going to take place on the day of resurrection? Verbatim, in detail, and in depth. Allah has given us this. So in order for what? For you to prepare. So number 1, which you should be focusing on, number 1, is what everyone? Purifying your what? Your i'tiqad. Purifying your belief in your creed, your conviction. Allah has clearly said in this text upon His Messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam, that on the day of resurrection, the first thing that the people will be tested and examined is pertaining to their belief system. Are you upon a millah of Islam or a millah of kufr? If you're upon a millah of kufr, then like we said, as it says in the narration, Allah Ta'ala, there will be a call that will call out, and it will say that every nation follow what he used to worship, which is the second category of Tawheed, which is Tawheed al-Ibadah. Jayyid. So those callers out there, you'll find and show, and this clearly displays the misguidance of a lot of Muslims these days who deviated. So you would say to a person, this is the first thing Allah is going to address us, so why are you not focusing on it and you're focusing on other affairs such as politics? And you're focusing on other affairs of making bid'ah dhikr and going out for 30 days. How many days? 40. Excuse me. 40 days. This clearly says in the text, this is what the people are going to be tested with. So this is what we should be focusing on. Trying to purify our what? I'tiqad. Which is a what? First of all, number one, unifying Allah in His worship, actualizing the monotheism, cleansing it from anything that taints it, from that which is of shirkiyat. That is why Ahlul Sunnah work diligently and focusing on this matter. Number one, because that's the first thing that will be addressed on the day of resurrection. Because if someone dies in the state of disbelief, or in the state where he dies in the state of polytheism, it's done. It's a done deal for him. It doesn't matter whether or not he had got work for it. It doesn't matter whether he had a boyfriend, a girlfriend. It doesn't matter if he was a homosexual. It doesn't matter whether or not he has committed zina 500 times in the dunya, or he killed 100 people. If he committed polytheism and he dies in that state, where was the abode be, everybody? Hellfire. Khalidan mukhalladan fiha. He will never come out. That's the reason why Ahlul Sunnah works on this matter. And the social ills, like we said, comes behind it, taba'an. It comes behind the following. As I told the brothers myself, when I taught Kitab al-Tawheed, I finished it in the khutbah. And that's by the fault of Allah. Finished it in the khutbah. From beginning to end. I said, brothers started coming to me and saying, Abdur-Razzaq, I'm tired of selling drugs. I want to change my life. Leaving out the sins came as a result of it. That was the fruits. The people started telling me, I'm tired of having girlfriends. I'm tired of talking on the phone. I'm tired of it. Why? Because we focused on giving the people the ma'rifah of Allah first. Once that was deep-rooted, like you said, leaving off the sins came behind it, taba'an, following right behind it. The people were fed up with living the life how they live. They said, listen, I'm trying to meet my Lord in a good state. I'm tired of having the girls. I'm tired of going to the clubs, drinking, and doing a bunch of nonsense that really at the end of the day is just running me into a brick wall anyway. Waking up with a headache, and I'm feeling more depressed. So number one, it gives one salvation on the day of resurrection and bring rectification in the dunya, which is both of the fruits of what we're talking about now. So that we said on the day of resurrection, based upon this hadith that you'll find in the narration here, Allah Ta'ala is going to put all three categories of Tawheed to test on the day of resurrection. This is what we spoke about yesterday. We also said that the third category of Tawheed will be what? Tested, which is Tawheed al-Asma wa Sifat, will also likewise be tested. I talked about, this is where we left off yesterday. Where we said in the narration, Allah Ta'ala is going to come to the Khalq in the most closest form of that which they perceive how Allah is. And like we said, Allah Ta'ala will say, Ana Rabbukum. And they will say, مرتين وثلاث مرات نعوذ بالله منك لا نشرك بالله شيئا. We seek refuge in Allah from you. We do not set up anything of partners with Allah, anything in the least. And Allah will what? Keep saying it. Coming to them in the form of what they perceive, who is Allah Ta'ala. As we know, Ahlul Sunnah, we've been teaching Tawheed al-Asma wa Sifat when we went through the books of what? Al-Aqidat al-Wasitiyah. That was another book we also completed. Because now this is preparation for the day of resurrection. Because, like we said, all three categories will be what? Put the test. The third test, Allah is going to now put another test to the people, where He's going to come to them in their minds thinking, or how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was, or how they perceive how He is, ta'ala. But those who went through the books of Al-Aqidah al-Wasitiyah, and those who went through the books of Al-Qawa'id al-Muthla, and those who went through the books of Hamawiyah, and those who went through the books of Tadmuriyah, and those who went through the books of Tahawiyah, and all those other books will be ready on the day of resurrection. Because when Allah comes, Allah Ta'ala will put everyone to test, And based upon their ilm that they acquired of the aspect of Tawheed al-Asma wa Sifat, they will know when Allah tests them, they will say, it will come to them, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. Nothing is similar to him, and he's Sami' al-Basir. So that test, when the day of resurrection of Tawheed al-Asma wa Sifat, will be actualized. Because Allah is going to keep testing, where it says in the narration, حَتَّى يَكَادْ بَعْضُهُمْ يَنْقَلِبْ, till some of them will fail the test. Some of the people will fail. And Allah knows best, probably those who's causing a bunch of fitna on social media, wasting their time. Instead of busying themselves with learning these categories and implementing them on a daily basis. Probably those on social media just wasting their time with a bunch of nonsense. He said, Allah on the day of resurrection, Allah Ta'ala says some people will fail. They're going to flip. They're going to fall for the trap. Then Allah Ta'ala will appear. As we're about to say, because we know Allah Ta'ala will manifest Himself on the day of resurrection. Once He will come. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will what? Hide Himself again from the believers. As far as that which pertains to the munafiqeen, that's something we'll talk about on a later day basis, whether or not they'll see Him or not on the day of resurrection. We know on the day of the Jannah, they're not going to even enter Jannah, the munafiqeen. But anyway, as far as the believers, that's agreed upon, of course. They're going to see their Lord twice. Number one, the believers are going to see Allah ta'ala on the Arasat al-Qiyamah, on the plains of the day of resurrection, as we know. That's known. And secondly, in Jannah. So it's twice. Tayyib. Oh man, we gotta. So that's twice. When Allah Ta'ala will manifest Himself, it says in this narration, as it says, when they see Him, it's going to say on the day of resurrection, Ana Rabbukum. The believers will say, Anta Rabbuna. After the test is over, they're going to know. When they see the sign that Allah will what? Display, which is His shin, which, as we said yesterday, which category of Tawheed is that, everyone? And the smell of that. Right. So the shin will be shown, and the believers will know the sign when they see it. Even if you go back to the book, what Ibn al-Qayyim mentioned in his book, Hadi al-Arwah ila bilad al-Afrah. Even what Shaykh Rabi' had mentioned in the commentary of it, which is what Hadi al-Arwah is a tremendous book, ila bilad al-Afrah. And Shaykh Rabi' put it in he did a nice commentary, concise commentary on it, nice. He talked about how the Mu'tazila, as you know, what they deny, the ru'ya of Allah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be seen, rather be something else that will be seen. It's not actually Allah. These people also have subjected themselves that they will be deprived of seeing Allah on the day of resurrection due to the fact that they deny that Allah can be seen. These deviant sects subject themselves for the deprivation of this ni'mah. Because the ultimate ni'mah is to see Allah. Tabaraka wa ta'ala. To see Allah is the ultimate ni'mah that's better than any na'im that will be given in paradise. Any type of delight or any type of pleasure, anything you can think of enjoyment, nothing will be equal to seeing Allah. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we know, the enjoyment of what takes place in paradise is enjoyment of the body. Enjoyment of outwardly, of that which is pertaining to what's done externally. To the body, what have you, of lebanon and drinking khamr, because there will be khamr in Jannah, and it will be lebanon, and it will be all those things of women to the end. However, the ultimate delight is the pleasure of the heart. Is the pleasure and the contentment and delightment, enjoyment when he feels at ease in his heart. That's even with the dunya. How many people now are externally pleased, but inside of their hearts they're being tortured on a daily basis? You understand, everyone? How many people that have all pleasures of the dunya? They have cars, they have women, they have it, and they still feeling like, I'm still being the most wretched, the most miserable person in the dunya. That's because, like we said, they have not rectified this, and the most ultimate torture is the torture of the heart. However, in the paradise, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they see Him, the most ultimate na'im is what? Is when they see Allah, the pleasure of the heart will take place. And that's the ultimate pleasure. When you feel at ease in your chest and your heart. That's the ultimate contentment, and that's the ultimate what? Tuma'nina. It's the ultimate ease. So when the believers see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of resurrection, and likewise they will see Him on the plains of the Arasat al-Qiyamah. They will see Allah likewise on the day of resurrection. The last thing that I wanted to speak about in regards to the person who be the least of those who will receive delightment and enjoyment will be the man, of course, who will be given his light fi ibham qadamih, fi ibham qadamihi, or that which is in the ibham qadamih, or that which is in the toe part of his foot. As we know, people on the day of resurrection will have different levels of light, all according to their deeds. If your deeds of good was in abundance, it was sincere for Allah, and it was in accordance with the Sunnah, and it was accepted by Allah, then those who did an abundance of those actions, of course, his light will be illuminated. It will be great. It will be radiant. Because we know on the day of resurrection, there will, as it comes to Sahih Muslim, where the Prophet ﷺ said, that on the day of resurrection, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make everything go absolutely black and dark. Allah will make everything go absolutely black and dark. And the only thing that will be able to get you through that darkness is the light that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you. And like we said, everything will be based upon, like we talked about many occasions, is based upon your righteousness and your good deeds you put forth. That's how your light will be illuminating and it will be radiant. And based upon your disobedience and the filth you've done in this dunya and all the despicable actions, it will what? It will lower your light and will make it what? Less and less. The Prophet ﷺ had informed this hadith here about the man who will have the least of that light, which will be on the foot of his toe, or be on the toe of his foot, or that which is in the toe of his foot. He says, and it will be coming up, it will be lighting up, and then it will become what? Dark. Until it will be he will be the last people crossing over the bridge over hell. And we talked about how people be crossing over the hellfire, over the bridge over hell, is based upon, likewise, again, your good deeds. How fast you will go is based upon, you'll find even Sheikh Muhammad Salih al-Uthaymeen even mentioned and said, your speed even depends on how fast you enter the call of the haqq, of the truth. To the point where as soon as you embraced it, you didn't hesitate. You took it and you started what? Progressing. When you started progressing, likewise how you answered the call of the haqq in this dunya, and you wanted to progress, you took your religion to another level. Likewise, this will aid your speed over the hellfire. Also likewise, your light that you attain is also based upon your what? Your good deeds and your righteous actions. But before all of that comes, like we said, number one is the i'tiqad. Once the i'tiqad, we go on that level, then that's when we look at the sins. The sins will be drawn out, and the only people that will be left, like we said, is the people of Islam, because we know from Islam are those who are upon the correct understanding, and there are people who are upon deviant ways and deviant improper understandings that contradict what the Prophet ﷺ was upon and his companions. And we know, like we said, being upon a deviant belief in matter is a type of fisk which deserves, as a result of it, going to the hellfire. A lot of people don't realize that. Especially you're still in the middle of Islam, but a deviant creed or some type of belief or conviction is a type of fisk which, as a result of it, will land you in the hellfire. For a certain amount of time until you're purified of that i'tiqad that you fell into. Whether or not, of course, we know the different types of bid'ah, mufassiqah, those who not even in the fold of Islam from the nation of Islam, because we got that prior to that. But anyway, in regards to the nation of Islam, I forgot to say, Farrakhan said thanks Tahir for the light of unity you displayed to us. Thank you very much. But anyway, I had to throw that in there. But anyway, like we said, those who are upon the nation of Islam, those who are not in the fold of Islam, those who are not in the fold of Islam, Tahir, who you give lectures with, and you generalize your lecture, and you didn't make it clear either, and you didn't make it clear to let you know that Farrakhan walked out there thinking all of us are on one page, because you didn't give a lecture, you generalized. As he always does. He likes to generalize it. Likes to generalize. Generalizes a lot, doesn't he? He's generalizing that clip he gave on YouTube last month. He's a generalizer. Y'all should call him that. The generalizer. The generalizer. Let's call him that. Hey, generalizer. When you're going to start naming some names, generalizer, stop being the puppet master, being the puppet man who you got Shadeed and everybody else. You're pumping, you're manipulating everybody in front of you. Knowing that you're behind the scenes, quiet is kept. And your own followers are falling for your trap, because in the end, when it comes down on them, you can just walk in the end and say, I ain't do what it was done. I ain't had nothing to do with this shit. Anyway, so what we saying in regards to the nation of Islam that's not in the fold of Islam, as we know they will go to hell because they're not even considered in the fold of Islam. But as far as in regards to those Muslims who fell in some type of fisq and i'tiqad, they will go to hell. They will go to hell. And that's due to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, افترقت أمتي على 73 فرقة ايش كلها في النار إلا واحدة. That all of them are what? 73 sects from my ummah, all of them are what? In hell except one. Gee. So now that one group who are upon that was the way of the Sahaba. Those who have to now cross over the bridge of the hell, like we said, their speed and their light depends, of course, how fast and they hasten towards the call of the haqq, and also likewise their righteous actions. That's to show us, and how they also restrain themselves from disobedience. They restrain themselves from disobedience, from being with the girls and backbiting and causing fitna on YouTube, and causing fitna on social media, and all the other things. All of that's going to affect your light on the day of resurrection, and it's going to affect your speed on the day of resurrection. Those who like to broadcast their sins on social media, bragging openly, I got my girlfriend, I got this, and we out doing us. It's all fun and games now. But when the bridge is laid over hell, then that's where everything will be put in perspective based upon your light and your speed. Because when you cross over the day, on the day of resurrection over hell, that's going to be very scary. When you see the hellfire breathing in your face, and it enjoys torturing people, because it takes pleasure in pleasing Allah. Understand, everyone? Jail. So when the people now cross over the hellfire, once they end, the least person now that's on that bridge will be this man here. When he crosses over the hellfire, of course we know, he will be the least of those who will be receiving the least of reward. What's the least of reward in Jannah? Just the lowest heaven? Fine. The least of reward in Jannah is this. That which Allah has created since He brought into existence this dunya, all the way up to when He will halt its existence. From the time when Allah created it, all the way up to the time when Allah will halt its existence and stop it. And 10 times more than that. That's the least of people who's going to receive reward. Least. It's the least. Least. You understand? Fine. So it's like you have tens of now. Ashurta al-Da'afa, as it says in the narration. He says he's going to receive that which Allah moved and khalaqa ad-dunya ila an afnaha wa ashratu al-Da'afa, as it says in the narration. How Allah created as far as na'im, since He started the dunya all the way up to when He halted its existence, and 10 times is what of this reward of it, of that dunya. And also likewise, it doesn't stop there. It says in the narration here, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, it says here that when he enters, because everyone looks in the narration when it talks about when the Prophet laughed, when it says in that laugh, because it says in the narration the Prophet laughed and Abdullah ibn Mas'ud laughed. He said when the man will say to Allah, he says, because he's going to say, oh Allah, allow me to get that one. And he's going to give it to him. He says, is that enough for you? No, I want that one. Then I want that. Then he says, then he wants another one. He says, you want more? Until Allah, until it says in the narration that the Abd will say, أَتَسْتَهْزِئُ بِي وَأَنْتَ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. He saw Allah. He says, are you playing with me? Are you joking with me? You're the Lord of the worlds. Then the Prophet said, Allah will laugh. So the Prophet laughed, and Abdullah ibn Mas'ud laughed. So then as he says, go into paradise. Go into paradise. So when he enters into paradise, when he enters into it, when the person, this is the least, this is inshallah be a shawq, or what they call taqah, or tashweeq, for us to strive towards paradise and look down upon this dunya. Where it says when he enters into paradise, he's going to see something to the point where it says in the narration, he's going to fall and prostrate. He's going to fall in prostration. That the person is going to fall in prostration. And the caller is going to call out. He said, يرفع رأسك ما لك يا عبد الله ما لك. He said, فقد رأيت ربي فيقول هذا بيت من بيوتك. هذا بيت من بيوتك. He says, you're going to fall يخر ساجدا ثم يرفع رأسه فيقول ما لك يا عبد الله ما لك. قال قد رأيت ربي. He said he's going to fall in prostration. He's going to see something. He's going to raise his head. He's going to go, what's wrong with you, Abdullah? He said, I see my Lord. I see my Lord. That's how what he saw was so beautiful and so bewildering. He thought he saw Allah. The caller would call out and say, that's a house from your houses. هذا بيت من بيوتك. That's the least of those of you. It's the least. Then it says in the second part of the narration, it says that he's also going to see someone, something else, or a person. It says, فَيَخِرُّ سَاجِدًا فَيَقُولْ إِرْفَعْ رَأْسَكَ مَا لَكَ يَا عَبْدُ اللَّهِ فَقَدْ رَأَيْتُ مَلَكًا مِنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ فَيُقَالُ لَهُ هَذَا عَبْدٌ مِنْ عَبِيدِكَ. Then it's going to be said, he's going to see something again that's very bewildering, very beautiful, very radiant. To the point where we'll say in the narration, he's going to fall in prostration, he's going to raise his head. He says, raise your head, what's wrong with you, Abdullah? He says, I've seen an angel from the angels. He says, that is the servants from your servants. That's a servant from your servants. So this person received, that was tenfold the dunya. Also he saw a house that he thought to the point it was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also thirdly, he seen something he thought was an angel, and it was what? It was his servant. From the servants he will have. Right, if you want? This is something that will be, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, a tashweeq, a shawq for us to yield, to yearn for Jannah. And start looking down upon the dunya, but also preparation for striving for the hereafter. Number one, based upon these instructions, striving hard to purify our i'tiqad. Also, brothers, if you can, wallahi al-azim, if you can, please learn the Arabic language. And this is something I will look forward to one day that will make me very happy, even if it's one of our children teaching these books. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, allow our children one day to be ulama, allow them to teach these books. If it's not me or if it's not one of our sons to be able to teach these books. But wallahi, what will make me so happy is to see people teaching them these books such as Al-Iban al-Kubra by Ibn Battah and Al-Sughra. Those are the books that will teach you Minhaj al-Salafi. Also seen in the masjid, people going through books of Sharh Usul I'tiqad Ahl Sunnah. The reason why people are confused is just exactly what Shaykh Rabi' mentioned. He said the reason why people are falling into what they fall into for the Muslims, he said because they left off the books of the Salaf. They left off reading these books. Not just the only, of course we know Sharh Sunnah, that's given. Also likewise, alhamdulillah, we've gone through these books. We know alhamdulillah, we're still going through these books. We're still benefiting from them. But also likewise, who teaches Minhaj Salafi, also likewise, Wadih, Nafi, also is the Iban al-Kubra, Al-Sughra, Ibn Battah, also Sharh Usul I'tiqad, Al-Ladhakari, also Kitab al-Sharia by Abu Bakr al-Ajurri. Though these books, if you go through these books and you have our sons teaching them, that would it'll be a high for me. It'll be like, yes, we have made it, yes. To have an alim from Ahl Sunnah, from Salafi, teaching the books of Usul al-I'tiqad, of the Usul of Ahl Sunnah, and of the Salafis. The reason why these knuckleheads, such as Tahir, like I told you, I know they're going to make a video about me, so I might as well just say what I'm like. So anyway, because I know they're going to put Hamzah Abdur-Razaq 1,000. They're probably going to put 100,000 mistakes on there. 100,000 mistakes on the Hamzah Abdur-Razaq. More than likely it might come out tonight too, brothers. But anyway, so I might as well just say what I want to say. So what we say is in regards to this, so what we say is, these books one day, bi'idhnillah, I hope that we'll be able to go through them. Because these are the reason why these knuckleheads are out here confused. They're confused. Because they haven't gone through those books properly. With the ulama who taught them usul and know how to properly critique someone on a scholastic based level without bringing your cronies in to bring the sins of the students. Because that's not from usul Ahl Sunnah. I don't know where they get that from. To make cuts, to dishonor, to talk about people's grades, to be talking about somebody's wife, or to talk about this person. I don't know where they get that from, because that's not in the books of the i'tiqad. I don't know where they got that from. That is not the correct way to critique anyone. The reason why they're around doing this, number one, Allah knows best because of hawa. That's number one. Number two, because of their jahl, and Allah knows best they've never been through none of these books, or understood them properly if they did read them. So one of these days, bi'idhnillah, one of the learners the Arabic language brothers, go through these books. Go through those books. Those books teach you Minhaj Salafi. I'm talking about clear as the sun in the sky. One of the most greatest durus that was when Sheikh Muhammad al-Hadi was teaching the Iban al-Kubra and Kuliyah Sharia. Me and Uwais and Tawheed used to go there during the breaks. We used to run for Kuliyah al-Hadith. We used to run the Kuliyah Sharia to catch what we could catch. when Sheikh Muhammad al-Hadi was teaching Ibana. And then I heard after I graduated he was teaching it later on. But anyway, we had to run to the masjid, and we had to go to Khalid Sharia, and we used to listen to it. It was one of the most pleasurable lessons to learn Minhaj Salafi in the most clearest way upon a alim from the ulamas of Ahl Sunnah, and upon that which is of clarity. It's the most enjoyable, it is like you're in your own zone when you're in the, you forget about your problems with your family, your kids, your wife, you're in your own zone. To say, this is the reason why I'm here in this country. I'm here to sit at the hands of the ulama and take knowledge. And also upon a scholar whose minhaj is salim, a scholar whose minhaj is clear, and he's upon what he's teaching is clear. What he's conveying to you is just clear. Just straight, clear salafiyah. One of the most greatest lessons I was in. And like we said, when you start learning those lessons, you won't be confused about this nonsense going on out here. Like I said, all you gotta do, just what we said in the last lesson yesterday, all you gotta listen is to one sentence, two sentences, three sentences. You ain't gotta listen to 2 hours of nonsense. All you gotta do is listen to 1, 2, 3, bang. 3 point, Ali Hassan Hanabi. Abu Hassan Hanabi again. Bang, that's all I need to know. Keep it moving. Here's a regurgitation, here's an instant replay of Abu Hassan Ali Hanabi. Here we go again. Just in another form of a person, right? So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open our eyes up to the haqq, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all tawfiq. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. آخر دعوة الحمد لله رب العالمين. What was that question?
Let me read it to you. Somebody texted. Yeah, it was about you was talking about being soft and kind with the brothers, but do we apply this to Shadeed in those that the scholars warn against?
No. Shadeed Muhammad is not Rasulullah. Shadeed, I don't understand.